All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army. We got a mailbag episode where we'll talk about the international break and preview the week ahead, match week 12 for Premier League. We definitely got a lot to talk about here. Now, as I said, a mailbag episode. We fielded questions from all you beautiful people, and we got all kinds, shapes and colors here, including Ronny and Donny, U.S. men's national team, MLS playoffs, Premier League, featuring North London Daerby, by the way, and lots of random yet captivating topics, of course. So, needless to say, it should be a good one. Now, let's welcome in our panel of beauties. We will start with Mr. Mikey Fowler. Now, I got the same intro question for all you guys. We'll keep it quick and brief and get to the good stuff. Mikey Fowler, favorite fast food?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. Good answer. And In-N-Out we go. Mitchell Goulet, a.k.a. Overtime Mitch, favorite fast food?
Subway.
Oh, you peasant.
What? What?
That's the most unpopular answer I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's real food, but
What is this, 2004?
I wish.
Do people actually still eat Subway?
I love Subway.
That was a thing.
I'm so good with a Subway footlong every single day. I can eat Subway every day.
Oh, Jesus.
Does Dunkin'
I've
Donuts
never had an intro
have
question
food?
that like completely changed my opinion of somebody, but I'm thinking about it.
I did not expect that.
Should we start over? Re-rack.
Whoa! All right.
This is atrocious.
This is not a Subway-friendly environment.
Yeah. Well, that is. I'm thrown for a loop. Last but never least, the voice that you guys know this voice by the way, but he is not here every week. Alex Bono, loud and proud GKU member. Welcome on, as always. Great to have you. Favorite fast food?
Just to show my distaste at Subway, I'm going to say Jersey Mike's, because it's just like an actual sub chain that's pretty good. But for me, it's Five Guys. I love Five Guys.
Really? You're just a fries guy?
The fries are incredible. The customizability of the burger, the peanuts, the free peanuts when you walk in there and you're waiting, just nothing beats it.
You got to put a down payment on a burger there, though.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We know where that stipend goes.
That per diem that I save, it goes straight to the Five Guys for sure.
Lunch and dinner.
That's right.
Oh,
I'd rather go cut cold cuts myself than go to Subway and buy that shit.
I know, the bread. How do you eat the bread from there? That is
Bread's the best part. It's not even legally bread. You know, it's not even legally bread. They lost
the meat isn't legally meat.
It's like a bread product or something.
Right. They can't call it bread. I don't even know what to say. You have such good taste in many ways, but yeah, I don't know.
Not there.
We're not here. All right. Let's move on. So, mailbag. We're going to start in the U.S. or with the U.S. men's national team. Of course, we're coming off a big window. Mikey's excited. Everybody's excited. U.S. So, listen, we've had some bad windows. We've had some okay windows. This was, I think, unequivocally a good window. We beat Paraguay 2-1, and then we played a Uruguay team that looked pretty similar to the one that beat us in Copa America last year. And not only did we rotate essentially the entire team from the Paraguay game, but we spanked the living bejesus out of Uruguay 5-1. And remember, this is a roster that just beat Paraguay and Uruguay. This is a roster that was without 6 or 7 basically nailed on starters with Pulisic, Adams, McKennie, Richards, Wade, Malik Tillman, Jedi Robinson. There's probably more. Whatever. We'll leave it there. Point being, this window was not so bad. It was not so bad. So the first question, right in our face, Nicholas Lazar. Hooray! USA B team beat Uruguay C team. World Cup is 8 teams and we get smoked. Who cares? That's a great question. It's more of a statement that's sort of thinly wrapped in a question. But Bones, we'll go to you first. What's your thought on the U.S. men's national team coming out of this window?
First of all, I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly. Did you say 5 or 6 shoe-in starters? And then you started naming them, and then you said Malik Tillman, and I started losing my train of thought for a second. I'm going to kind of change my my feeling as like everything leading up to the World Cup starts to happen. And I'm not a big fan of Tim and Landon doing their podcast, but they did have an ex-teammate on of mine the other day, and I saw a clip of Michael Bradley, and what he said for me is spot on. They're going to play 3 90-minute games on home soil, which never happens, and everyone is going to get to judge them based on those 3 games and whatever games come after that. And everything that leads up to it in a year or 2 years from now, even, nonetheless, 5 to 10 years, no one's going to remember the Uruguay beatdown or the Paraguay win in Philly. Like, no one really cares about these. And us being able to talk about them from, on an international break, it keeps the conversation going. But none of this actually matters. And so it's great to go out there and feel like guys are producing and guys are at the top of their game and fighting for spots for the team. That's what these are for. But in the grand scheme of things, none of this actually matters. And so until the game starts to really matter, we didn't play. When was the last time we played a competitive match? Like a true competitive match that meant something, Until you start to do those, no one cares. Yeah, that's borderline competitive, by the way.
2014.
There you go.
Listen, that's a very fair statement, and actually sort of implicit in Nicholas's question, which is more of a statement, is the fact that people don't care. I would take it to the next level. People don't give a shit about the men's national team program right now. So, I don't know, Mitch, does this at least give you a little, is there a reason to maybe get a little excited coming out of this window?
Not exclusively because of this result, but if you look at the bigger picture of what we've done recently, particularly since switching to a 3-back, undefeated. Only wins and 1 draw since switching to a 3-back in September, I think it was. It feels like a singular step in the right direction, but I don't think it gets me excited. I liked what I saw from a couple different guys. Alex Freeman seems to be one of Pochettino's favorites. And if you said to the majority of this fan base a year ago that Alex Freeman has a real shot at starting in the World Cup, they would look at you and say, who? But he's done well with his time. And I think he's proven that's what these games are for, is for proving that you earn a spot on that team. I think there's a ceiling to how excited everybody should be about a 5-1 win against Uruguay in a friendly. You're promised 270 minutes of football in the World Cup. That's it. And that is right. You will be judged on just those games, and then, God willing, whatever comes after that. But for this, it's a good feeling to put a big old home W up, but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, that's fair. Mikey, do you have anything to say at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to push back on you saying starters that aren't playing. These guys aren't good enough. I don't think these guys are good enough to turn it on.
Christian Pulisic and Tyler Adams and Chris Richards and Jedi. Well, I mean, I would say Jedi Robinson nailed on starter. Weah probably started. I granted Malik Tillman. There's that could not be. McKennie, I think, is an argument there as well. But yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 starters were just not at camp. So I think that was a fair statement. Maybe I exaggerated a little bit.
The thing that everybody should be terrified about is the athlete that is able to not do something and then turn it on is the elitist of the elite athlete. And I don't know if these guys are going to be able to just wake up out of bed on the day of the first group stage game and be like, all right, wearing the American kit, let's do this. I don't think it's going to work. So we
do have friendlies scheduled before that, but again, they're friendlies.
And you do hope that leading up to the World Cup, the first half of 26, those friendlies are going to be A teams playing against your A team. You're going to really figure out with some serious competition with guys in other nations who are also fighting for spots on teams, spots in lineups that, that's where you kind of actually find out what's going on. Right now, these teams, these teams had to qualify already. We didn't have to qualify. So we're playing them and Poch can just walk around and put out whatever lineup he wants. And he can say, I'm trying to figure out what my best 11 is or what my best group of guys is. And everyone's like, okay, well, I mean, what are we to say that that's not what you're doing and that's not what you should be doing, right? And then over the next 6 months is when we really get to find out who he really trusts and who he believes in, and then he names a team. There could be guys in that team that he names that haven't been in the camp in a year or haven't played a game in 5 camps, right? Like, you don't know.
It'll be
And
interesting
he
if
kind of
that's the
referenced that.
case.
He kind of referenced that when he was asked afterward in the presser, and somebody asked him like, "Oh, you were missing some regular players," and he was like, "Well, what do you mean regular players? Like,
Correct.
these are all U.S. men's national team players. Whoever defines them as regular, like, that's you guys. I'm the coach. I'm deciding who's a regular player." I'm paraphrasing, but it's we can judge this a little more clearly when we play. I think it's Portugal and Germany leading up to the World Cup in, again, home friendlies. But right now, this is, you can pull whatever conclusion you want from this window. It's good, but it's, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So I always think of this kind of situation, and I think of it in, you're talking to 2 different audiences, right? We're talking to soccer sickos, the guys and girls that are in our, Sam's Army Patreon and are just living and dying with everything that's going on with the men's national team, the women's national team, Premier League every week. And then there's a second audience, this kind of the lay fans, armchair fans, whatever, the people that we really hope to get on board that are absolutely not on board right now. And the hope was that we, play some games, win some games in the lead up to the World Cup and get more people on the bandwagon from that armchair population. We haven't gotten a single person yet. I don't think there is anybody that's coming on. But I do think that wins and the headlines that come with them, beating Uruguay 5-1. And by the way, that wasn't a C team for Uruguay. That was basically a borderline A team. They didn't have Valverde. They didn't have Donkey. But other than that, that was an A team. That was a good win. Go ahead, Mitch.
To speak to that sentiment firsthand, I talked to people today about, did you see what the U.S. men's national team did last night? And these are self-proclaimed general sports fans, people who are aware of big happenings in the sport, but may not be up every single day looking at, U.S. men's national team Twitter. They had no idea we even played. It didn't move the needle whatsoever.
Yeah. Part of that is shitty marketing and promotion and advertising, which, we've always been sort of lacking in that department. Hopefully they get it a little bit better. And Fox does a better job once we get closer to the World Cup. But yeah. All right. Anyway, quickly, another question. This one from, I don't know who this is from. Danny. Whose stock rose the most this window? And did anybody's fall? So we got 2 games. I'll give you guys some shouts and you guys can give me feedback. On the Paraguay game, the obvious sort of first person whose stock rose was Gio Reyna, right? I mean, he's the sort of maybe the most controversial member of the team at the moment. He had not been a regular, if we're going to use that word. He had not been a regular recently. Poch hadn't been calling him in. He came in this camp. He played well against Paraguay, scored a goal, nice goal. I think he got an assist in that game as well. He played well. So I think Gio Reyna's stock, you got to give it. He was under pressure. Like, the kid came in, he had to perform, and he did. So I'll give him some flowers there. I thought Joe Scally played well. I thought Arfston, another guy that I think when he first started playing for the national team months ago, a lot of farts and talk. I think maybe some of the farts and talk has died away. He is a dangerous player going forward. Now, defensively is a different thing, but I thought he played well in the Paraguay game. Now, in the Uruguay game, Freeman, obviously, huge winner. Sebastian Berhalter was another name that played. He scored. I think he got an assist in the game. His free kicks, are next level. We don't have anybody else that's putting in free kicks like that. So I think he's the real question. So Will Stratton, by the way, is Sebastian Berhalter a must start for his free kicks? And if so, who would he replace, Mikey?
I like Sebastian Berhalter quite a bit. That's why I put my nose up. Yeah. Where is he going to play? I know Poch just played him kind of as like a inside forward channel guy at times. Also paired him with a holding midfielder. He's been a holding midfielder. I think he's going to find minutes for sure. I think people the free kicks thing is respectfully not how this works, but I do think his overall play is good, and his delivery on set pieces is a bonus to his character and his play style.
This says an Arsenal fan. That's interesting. Yeah, Bones, what's your take on Sebastian Berhalter? Is he going to be on this team at the World Cup? You're muted.
I knew that actually. I've never seen somebody start because of their free kick ability. But listen, he's someone who's had a meteoric rise over the last 12 months. Like, for those of you that aren't big MLS guys like myself, he has really caught the league by storm. He's one of the main players for a Vancouver Whitecaps team that was really, really consistent and really, really dangerous. And he was really the heartbeat of that midfield for the majority of the season. Listen to Thomas Muller talk about him, and you're like, okay, I mean, there's definitely something there. For me, he's for sure on the team. Where he fits, again, the position he plays, where he finds minutes, that'll all be kind of laid out. But for me, at this point in time, there's no reason that he shouldn't be on the team. He's for sure an extremely talented guy that can be really, really productive for the U.S. men's national team.
It's a great story as well. I mean, just objectively, it's a cool story that, he's obviously been through some things, not directly involved, but indirectly involved with a lot of things off the field. And it was cool to see him, I think that was his first goal for the national team against Uruguay, and then with the assist. Speaking of free kick, didn't Graham Zusi pretty much just start for his free kicks? I feel like
that was in like 1996, Sam.
It's like 10 years ago. It was not 96. Anyway, all right, we're all big on Berhalter, and by the way, his TikTok, he's fire. He's fire on TikTok.
Well, now I'm gonna look, and now he's ruined.
Well, or you'll love him even more. You never know. So that's one other player I'll throw out, Des. I thought Des played really well in both games, and it's great to have him out there. Let's see. Last question, U.S. men's national team related. Kidding like Jason on Discord. This is for Bones. Who is our GK3? And I'll just add, who's our GK1 and 2?
You're looking at 3 right here.
You or me, because I'll take it.
It's certainly you.
Listen, you have no idea what I can bring to that room from a vibes perspective. I will work my ass off on the training field. That's a absolute guarantee. No, they're it seems like it's for sure Freeze's spot to lose at this point. The concern of Matt not getting called in again, I'm not sure where that kind of is in Pochettino's mind, or where that's headed. And then you've got any one of the 3 of the Ohio boys, or Chris Brady. Who else is in this camp?
Slonina, not in this camp, but
Slonina is had a good year last year, but no, it's I guess 3 of those 4 guys, 4 of those 5 guys. The real question is what role is Matt Turner going to have in it? After obviously thinking that he was kind of the shoe-in starter, and Matt Freese has kind of emerged as the guy at this point. So who's our 2?
That's
if we're going to kind of say that Freese is the guy right now in everything that we've seen over the last few months, they seem like it's his spot to lose. Like, who's our 2?
So the 3 that were called in were Klinsmann, Schulte, and Celentano. So I know Klinsmann had a good season over in Serie B, I believe, but I haven't really seen him play too much.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Do you have this is tough. I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to sort of power rank these guys, but of those keepers, do you know sort of how familiar are you with them?
Well, I mean, one of them is currently my teammate. So that kind of puts me in a precarious situation here. But he's, since he's come back from Europe, he's obviously a great guy. Works his ass off, and he's got a lot of ability. So
I was eliminated. Didn't want you to. Don't worry about Turner.
Okay.
You know how I'm a big Turner guy myself. So I hope he's sort of not only on the team but getting players. Freeze is another Sam Fam guy. So I'm not gonna I'm not going to throw stones at either one. I'm excited for both of them. I'm hoping Turner, gets back in the mix. What about the younger guys, though? The people don't know so much about Celentano, Schulte, these guys.
Yeah, for me, the Celentano, Schulte, Chris Brady's been there. I haven't seen Klinsman that often since he kind of left. He was at Galaxy for a while, and then he kind of went overseas. Listen, the Ohio kids and Chris Brady, they're all really talented goalkeepers. They're all really young goalkeepers, and they all kind of have this different strength to their game that is different from the other guy. Like, obviously, with the way Columbus plays, Schulte's really good with the ball at his feet. This year, just in particular, he lacked a little bit in the actual keeping the ball out of the net department, but that was also a Columbus thing. So it's not just solely based on him, but that's his primary objective with Columbus, is to play out of the back. Celentano, like, they're one of the most stout defenses in the entire league. That Cincinnati backline is really strong. And excuse me, he was really good at just kind of keeping them in some games when they struggled to kind of put some goals in the back of the other net. And Chris Brady was the same. I mean, he might have had the strongest season of the three of them for me, with just the way that Chicago kind of grew throughout the season and how strong he was for them. But again, he's really young, even compared to the other two. So it's really going to be interesting to see who makes that roster, and I'm looking forward to following that.
All right, fair enough. I obviously, I'm rooting for Chris Brady, just as he's kind of the guy I've seen grow with this Chicago Fire team. So it'd be cool to see him out there. All right, let's move on. We actually don't have any U.S. men's national team talk for months now, Mikey. So you can be very excited about that. Ronny and Donny, Stephen Sheehan. So for anybody living under a rock, Ronaldo just sort of popped up in Washington, D.C. at the White House at some sort of, I don't know, event that Trump was throwing that involved the Saudi Arabia contingent, and I believe MBS, and God knows who else. Anyway, Stephen Sheehan, will the meeting at the White House produce an official pardon or just a quiet drop of charges? Okay, now that's a loaded question, because I think implicit in that question is the fact that there might be some things going on from years ago. There was a lot of talk about Ronaldo not ever coming to the U.S., and maybe this has something to do with it. I think this probably just puts that all to bed. I don't know, Mitch. Is there anything else we have? I mean,
Yeah, throw this one to me. Great.
We don't have our political consultant. We don't have our resident political expert here, so I got to throw at somebody.
Who is that?
Tyler.
I think Tyler's just the loudest.
He's willing to handle it. Tyler, you just don't remember him? Yeah, he's been a month since he's been on.
That guy? He was on the show
a long time
ago. Yeah, Jesus.
He's getting married and making babies.
The only fact that I have to offer is that this is his first time back in the United States in, I believe, 12 years, or 10 or 12 years, which is a sizable time to not be in the United States of America. Not that he would have any reason to be, but it's a weird meeting of not many minds there. Birds of a feather seem to flock together, and that is not a room I'd like to be a part of at all. And to answer, I don't know if you had mentioned this question, but to answer one of the ones asked in the Discord, like, what did they talk about other than just being rich?
Yes, hold on. I got to give you a little intro to this. This is the weekly what if. All right, this is the weekly what if question. What if Ronaldo, Donald Trump, MBS, and Elon Musk sit down at a table? How does that conversation go? Because they were all at this gala, I guess.
Nightmare blunt rotation. Oh my God. I think that conversation goes with, I think Trump starts talking about himself first and foremost. Elon attempts to make a joke that falls on deaf ears and nobody really understands what he's talking about. Ronaldo's sitting there smiling and like looking for people to take pictures of him. MBS is pretty uncomfortable during the whole thing. They eat. There's a little bit of small talk about the dinner, and then there's some photo ops and nothing. No actual information is exchanged at all.
You don't think Donald Trump brings up the fact that Ronaldo just said he thinks he's more famous than Trump?
Did Ronaldo say he thinks he is more famous than Trump?
He did. He went on Piers Morgan's YouTube show or something and Ronaldo said specifically just like 3 days ago or a week ago. He's like, I'm more famous than Donald Trump.
I'm gonna put a gun in.
Yeah, that's just not a room I want to be a part of. Neither of them are more famous than Messi, though. So that's the ultimate question here. Is that the one that you might really?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I did put up an Instagram story on that, and Messi was the runaway winner.
It's not close. I'm sorry.
I don't know if that's a little biased talking or not, but I guess we're all Team Messi around here. All right, we'll move on. Lifestyle question. This one's from Mike G. Over under how many years or perhaps months until fully married Tyler Terrence is a proud papa?
I thought you were gonna say it's back on the podcast, and I was gonna say 8 to 9.
9 months?
Yeah.
Is that the podcast or a dead baby?
Listen, I don't know if you follow them on Instagram, but both of them love having their shirts off and flexing because they're both jacked. So they're gonna stay jacked for a while and not have kids. That's my thought.
That's insightful, actually. That's a really good way to think about this.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that one. I would have said a little earlier, but okay. All right, Mikey's.
So my answer is 10 years.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. But okay, all right, we'll go with that. Tyler's not here to defend himself, and I won't throw anybody else unless Bones and Mitch want to get in on this.
Rather not.
Furtado Jr. One of the Furtado brothers. I think Justin's
Or a
the younger
third
one. What's that?
Or a third.
Yeah, I don't know how many of them are.
It could be 10 Furtados.
That's true, but there's only 2 on the Discord, so I'll call him Furtado Jr. Surprises / confirmations of perceptions of each other now that you finally met. So, Bones, just to give you the backstory here, we met. We all got together for the first time ever in person at Tyler's wedding a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
I'll take this one. Sam's 5'3".
I saw this guy in the tunnel at Soldier Field, and I was like, I thought that he'd be taller.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
That's the
I
takeaway.
thought that he'd be
I
taller.
don't know which one of you is lying harder.
That's a genuine. That's a genuine thought I had in my head. He's carrying a beer, and I thought to myself, I thought he'd be taller.
He was carrying
like,
a beer like this. He was carrying the beer like this, walking to his seat.
He was like holding it in his arm like this because it was too big for his hand. I gave him a hug, and I thought it was like my little nephew or something.
It was a mascot for the game, for the Chicago Fire game recently.
Yeah. He did the first kick. The little kid that did the first kick.
Yep, that's it.
What the fuck, Bones? First of all, I expect this from Mikey. You're
It's out of love.
Field.
It's out of love.
Yeah,
I know.
he's
Also-
actually 5'6". Like, let's be honest. He's
We'll give him a little bit of credit here.
It's 5'5", 5'6". You're right. I was exaggerating. So
Give him a little credit.
This is crazy. This is craziness. We're all just ganging up on Sam today. Listen,
I'm sure
Mikey-
Tyler's not tuning in, but it's nice of you. My invite must have gotten lost. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
there were players there. I thought any of them could have been you.
No, none of them. It's crazy.
A little surprised.
That's
We'll
okay.
talk about that
I'll
on
give him a
next
piece of my
episode.
mind the next. Listen, he texts me every once in a while about when was it? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I was in Toronto. I
That's where this was.
It's so crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, we were right there.
You know what's crazy? I was watching the game that he was supposed to be broadcasting for, thinking to myself, thank God Tyler Terrence isn't doing this broadcast because it would have been.
I'm enjoying this game.
Actually, I think it was the Seattle Minnesota game that was actually insane. The Seattle. I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but I was watching
the game he should have been calling.
Which is the game he was actually supposed to be calling, and I was talking to him about it. And I actually texted him, and I actually said something nice. I said this game would have been so much better if you were.
We don't need any of that.
I'm flipping here, so I'm flipping it on here.
Oh, I'm good. Good. We'll move away from the consummate.
Sam's frozen. He can't defend himself. I get to say
lying.
whatever I want.
I am my shit.
Sorry, go ahead, Sam. You're back.
All right. Listen, that's all. I don't even want to get back into this question at this point. I have nothing to add.
I like
to
that.
be like honest. I guess you had met everybody beforehand. I had
Except
never
for
met
Tommy.
Tommy McCabe.
Yeah. If you want my thoughts on Tommy, my first thought was like, holy shit, this kid is skinny. I was like,
Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess, that's how I guess you got to look if you're a professional athlete. Yeah, no, you don't. Okay, well,
Maybe
Bones,
if you're a
you're,
midfielder
yeah,
or,
I was gonna say
an
you're a goalkeeper.
outside,
What do
not
you
a
know about that?
goalkeeper, that's for sure.
I mean, he's a skinny guy. But no, I thought I had met Mitch, I had met Mikey, I had met Tyler. We actually didn't obviously hang out with Tyler too much over the weekend, but yeah, it was
Was he
cool to
busy?
see everybody. He was a little busy for a few hours there.
He's been
Yeah.
busy
And we haven't seen him
for a
since.
year and a half.
we only hear from him like every 3 days or so. Mitch, wait, did I cut you off? Do you have something to add there?
No, not really. Tommy's exactly who I expected him to be.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we spend enough time on the
Yeah.
internet that it would have been weird to be like taken aback by something, like me being 5'3", which, God damn it, Mikey, you and your,
Shock.
Dude, I can't believe you're supporting this, Bones. I'm actually more mad at you than I am at Mikey.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll move on. MLS playoffs. Jim, any thoughts on the games coming up this weekend? We'll throw this to Bones. Sort of most or least exciting game you're looking forward to this coming round.
Yeah, I think we can all say this: the round of three sucks. The 3-game series sucks. Hopefully, it'll be changed with this new scheduling format. No spoilers. I think it will be, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm really interested to watch Vancouver and LAFC. LAFC was surging at the end of the year. Everyone thought Vancouver kind of drop off, and they just kept rising. They really found their form. And LAFC is going to have to go up to Vancouver to try and pull off a win. That's Friday night, the late one. So don't miss that one. I think that's the one I'm most looking forward to.
Nice. Berhalter will be flying for that
Buzzing,
one coming
baby.
back.
Buzzing.
From the national team, having scored and everything. That's awesome. We did have a couple other questions, but I don't know if we really have any thoughts. Like this Ernst Tanner investigation news. I got to learn more about that before I delve into that. Don Garber, Andrew Brown suggested Don Garber might be stepping down. Who's next? That'll be interesting. I mean, first of all, he's not leaving anytime. He's not leaving anytime soon. Like this wouldn't be till 2027. But go ahead, Mikey.
I'll do
That's
it.
not that far away.
I'll take the job.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
What's
Mikey
your
will
first
take the
change?
job. He'll take the
I'll
job.
do it too.
Question.
No goalkeepers.
Fair enough. Who
needs them?
Last
Who needs them?
question on MLS. Nobody needs goalkeepers. But this one is actually for you. I need you to answer this question. What did you think on the schedule change? Do you care at all? Going fall to spring? Yeah.
I'm kind of integrated with the union a little bit, so I had kind of known that this was being discussed about. We were kind of negotiating these things for a while. And so I've kind of had the task of quietly feeling out how the players felt about it. The one thing I will say is that after last season, we took a poll with as many players that wanted to write in, and there was a bunch of different questions and a bunch of things with they ended up doing the divisions that kind of has been getting leaked, and like the single table playing everybody. These are all things that were asked to players, and players overwhelmingly were like, we think that this would benefit the league. And so the league, obviously, it's their decision if they want to try and implement that. And we've had some really great negotiations with them trying to make it work and fit into a system that works best for everybody. So those are definitely still ongoing. It seems like they made up their mind that they're going to make it happen. And now we're just kind of putting together some of the final pieces to make it happen. I think that it's a positive change. I think that having some time off in the summer is going to be great. I think that aligning the transfer window is going to be great. I think that playoffs being in the spring is going to be a real positive. No one likes this international break in the middle of playoffs. And I do think it will take some schedule creativity with the cold weather teams. One thing I can almost guarantee you, is that you're not going to see Minnesota playing a home game on February 6th, right? Like that's just one of those things that's not going to happen because that's just a common sense thing. And so cooler heads will most likely prevail, and we're going to get the schedule figured out. And I think it's actually going to be a really positive change for the league.
Okay. It's good to hear.
What do you guys think about it as fans?
So I didn't really know what to think. I hear all the positives, the negatives. I live in Chicago, so I can sort of very easily see some of the negatives. But then I saw a graphic somebody put up about like the times the league would be on and off. it's not that different.
Yeah,
it's really
the
not.
one difference with that is it's like a touch misleading because instead of having like playoffs and half the teams playing in these winter months as they are now, like everyone will be playing these winter months. So it's a touch misleading in terms of like who's playing when and like the density of when the games is going to be. But it is true, like when you actually look at it, you're really trading a couple weeks here for a couple weeks into December, and it's really not that big of a deal. Um, the league had really said that they wanted to change the playoff timing, which I think that everyone kind of agrees with. Like it's not great. And so with all those things, I think that we're putting together this system that everyone that's involved feels is going to be really positive.
It will be interesting to see how that sort of winter break, impacts play. Because that is a big break. But anyway, okay, Premier League, it's back, baby. We're back. No more international break, Mikey. Get excited. Premier League is back this weekend, and the highest profile game of the weekend from the Premier League perspective is, of course, the North London Derby. Arsenal coming in. I mean, you guys don't stink. I'll give you that. Top of the table, 4 points, no big deal. You do have some injury concerns at the moment. Gabriel went down in the international break for Brazil. So I think that means you guys are down to Mosquera or Hincapie next to Saliba, Calafiori, what?
Hincapie.
I have no idea how to pronounce that. Hincapie?
Hincapie.
Hincapie. Oh my God. Hincapie. I'm not even going to apologize for that one. Havertz, obviously out. Gyökeres, big time questionable. Anyway, Spurs, we always have our problems with injuries. We're up, Kolomwani's now out, so we got Solanke, Kolomwani, and Kulusevski, Madison, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Mikey, I know you've been thinking about this for weeks. What are your thoughts on this game?
The meanest thing I could possibly say to you is these don't slap the same anymore. They really don't.
Because your level's above us?
Yeah, this is a taking care of business fixture at this point.
Oh no, he didn't.
I know.
I love that you're saying that. I love that for you. But
no, I think there's going to be a lot in it. I think you'll know right away, right? If Spurs are really sitting back and trying to like absorb, and it's a slow methodical, you could see a really boring 1-2-0. But if Arsenal fall for the back and forth that I think Frank wants to do, then there could be reds and VARs and 2 goals and this and that. Like I think this could get messy. I hope emotion stays completely out of it, and it should be routine if that's the case.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I assume that Bentancur, who shout out to Bentancur for saving his legs against the U.S. This week with the red card. I assume we're going to play kind of that double pivot with him and Paulinho, which
I hope you do.
When we do, it is boring as shit. At least this game is not at Tottenham Stadium. That's the best thing about this. If this was at home, I would be like, yeah, we're gonna fucking lose. I don't know.
You're more confident away?
Yes.
Yeah, they're much better away.
Just look at like our performance this season. It's just night and day. I don't know why, but it just our style of
top of the table away form.
Yeah, sitting back and hitting people on the counter. It just, I guess, works better on the road. And
19th at home.
Yeah, we stink. We stink. All right, Bones, you got any thoughts?
I actually want Bones' thoughts on that. What makes a team terrible at home and good on the road?
Wow. It could be anything. Like, I've been on some teams where my most recent one, like sometimes it's tough to get up for home games if the support's not there or the surface isn't kind of what you like. These are problems that you don't really have in the Premier League that you kind of have in MLS.
But that's not the problem.
No, there's a ton of things where, like, and again, I'm not even sure they're going to be at a hotel the night before the game. They might be. They might do that every game, even for home games. But for me, it's always like getting out of your house, getting out of your city, just kind of being alone in the hotel, getting a good night's sleep with no distractions, definitely can help some people. Some people, they feel more comfortable waking up in their own house, taking care of their kids on game day morning because they're just super dads and then show up to the game and they still take care of business. So it's really all dependent and it's team to team. And then the worst part is once the momentum of like you can't win at home and then the fan pressure, especially when you're in the Premier League, starts rolling down that hill, it is really, really tough to stop.
Yeah. I mean, we are past the point of statistical anomaly at this point. Like we're just terrible at home. And
it doesn't
good on
turn
the road.
around at this point. It can't turn around at this point.
We need that long.
There's too much momentum.
Winter
I want
break.
to put that on a T-shirt for you. We are past the point of statistical anomaly.
I got no explanation. I
felt when I saw how tall he was.
I'm happy. This is crazy. I'm gonna get painted as the short one here. This is crazy.
Never ends.
It does. All right. Unless there's anything else on the Premier League, let's move on to World Cup qualifying quickly. Furtado Jr. again, Justin. Dream World Cup 2026. This is not qualifying. This is just World Cup. World Cup 2026. Dream matchup to attend in person, including city/stadium. Mitch, I feel like you've probably thought about this. I know we're just throwing this at Bowen, so give him time to think about it.
Yeah, am I speculating as to the whole scenario and what's going on in this matchup? Because in that case, it's probably Portugal-Argentina final at. I guess it would have to be at MetLife, but I would, if I had my choice, I would move the final to SoFi. I think SoFi is a superior stadium and facility. It's a really, really stunning place to play and watch a game. I really liked Lumen Field in Seattle too. That place can get rowdy. That's a good spot. It's probably Portugal-Argentina final at SoFi Stadium. Ronaldo scores a tap-in early. I think Messi comes back and scores 2. Final is 2-1, and we get all the storylines.
And then Trump he brings out the trophy and he gives it to Ronaldo and he pardons him, and then he gives it to Messi after. Finish it, Mitch. If you're gonna do it, then finish it.
Yeah. No, you want.
And Trump stays on stage the entire time too.
And then he actually keeps the World Cup trophy
in his office.
No one ever sees it again.
We already know that's happening. Like that is absolutely happening. Okay, good shout. Great from content creators' perspective. We know where your head's at. Mikey, what's your call here?
I want to see England, who have been in 2 finals now, or close. Yeah, they haven't won a major tournament, but I want to see them play a team they should beat, but have history with. I want to see them play Germany in like the round of 16, where like a loss would be just an absolute catastrophe, early exit, and the pressure. You can see it when it's still 0-0 in the 60th, and you can watch these guys. That I want to be in a really tense England letdown moment. I want to be in one of those.
You're unwell.
And pick me the shittiest city too. I want them to get eliminated in like Toronto.
The shittiest city? You could have said Cincinnati.
Are they hosting? I don't even know who's hosting.
Kansas City. Go to Kansas City.
Kansas City. Like Toronto's a proper city.
Fair. I think it'd be funny for England to lose not in America at the American World Cup in the round of 16 is what my brain went there.
In
no
Mexico.
Offense to Toronto. It was a lovely city for Tyler's wedding. Yeah.
Put him in Monterey.
Anyway,
you're turning this. You just said not 30 minutes ago that you're going to be rooting for England in this World Cup.
I know. I want to see them respond to it.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Bones.
And don't give away my position for the World Cup. I haven't unveiled that yet.
I'm going to do like a USA England with like 1776 posters all around in Boston.
Fuck yeah.
Or like a USA Germany, like back-to-back World War champs t-shirts everywhere. Like give me something of American historical significance. Mexico, like in Dallas, or if we can move a game to like New Mexico or something. One of those territories that was disputed back in the day. some real political tension from long ago when none of us were alive that people will care about.
Alamo type shit. I think Texas was definitely one
That's
of
a
the
good one.
one of the places that was contentious.
Houston,
Yeah, I mean,
put us right on the border.
Yep.
dude, U.S.
Playing
think about
away game.
a U.S. Mexico game in that World Cup. Like that would be insane. And I know that obviously Mexican fans in every other circumstance would just be 97% of the stadium, but I don't know if that'd be the case in a World Cup like this I mean, there's going to be a lot of them.
Yes, it would.
If
Yes, it
the
would.
United States ends up playing Mexico,
Yes, it would.
at absolutely any location, it could be it could be Toronto, Seattle, Vancouver, doesn't matter.
Cincinnati.
Is Kansas City, doesn't matter. It will be over 50% Mexican fans.
Over 50.
Oh, yeah.
Over
I'm
50?
going to grant you that. But like, I don't think
that's
it's going to be.
low.
I've been at a Soldier Field.
I was really low, but I'm saying over 75.
I don't think it's not close to 50-50.
No.
I mean, listen, I was at a Soldier Field when the U.S. played Mexico in the I can't remember what
1928
World Cup. No, Mikey, 15 Gold Cup final, and it was 98% Mexico fans. It was insane, but I think the World Cup will be different. We're going to we're going to get all these armchair fans out. I do.
No, we're not. We're not going to get armchair fans out to spend $7,000 on group stage tickets.
I think we actually will. I think people will do that.
It's going to be a pretty
it's
empty
to be
World
seen.
Cup.
People are going to want to have their little Instagram moment, in the stand.
I got an idea for them. The World Cup in America. They should get a signature drink like a honeydew or something for World Cup games, and then everyone will go get a viral drink going. That's the plan.
Each city should have their own, really.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, we can work with this. It's a marketing ploy there. Grant asked. We're totally switching gears here. Grant asked Mitch to expand on his "I've decided I'm in my Scott McTominay era" comment from the Discord. Is this your way of announcing you're moving to Italy and banging supermodels and goals?
That's pretty standard, but no, I've recently left a relationship, and I feel as if this is my chance to renew myself. I might start hitting bicycle kicks, grow my hair out a little bit, maybe I do move to Italy. I don't know what the future holds for me, but what Scott McTominay means to me is really making the most out of life and whatever situation you're in. And that if you're in a bad situation where you don't feel like you're fulfilled or you're really growing as a person, then it's okay to go make a move. And I think that's the attitude that I'm trying to embody going into the end of this year and into next year. That's kind of what my Scott McTominay era means to me. And I said this probably a week ago in the Discord, and just recently he hit that phenomenal bicycle kick, and I said, "See, this is the energy that I'm kind of trying to claim from the universe and from McTominay himself."
Okay, all right, that's a great answer. That's very diplomatic.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that answer. I like that. I'm rooting for you. I like this being your Scott McTominay.
Thank you.
Era.
I just won a trophy last night. No bullshit. We won a 7-on-7 men's league trophy last night. Things are already starting to turn around on the field.
Everything's coming up Mitch right now. Similar question, Dominic. Ireland or Scotland? Only one can make the World Cup. Which one would you pick? Now the backdrop here. So Scotland and Ireland just had incredible windows. Scotland, that was insane the way they beat Denmark 3-2 on or 4-2. Excuse me. They scored a last second goal. So they qualified for the World Cup. Ireland had to win. They had to beat Portugal and Hungary, which they did. What's his name? Troy Parrott, 5 goals in 2 games against Portugal and Hungary in must-win games. Now, Ireland did not qualify for the World Cup. They only qualified for the playoffs. They still have a little work left to do. But Ireland and Scotland would be an incredible additions to the World Cup. If only one could go, though. Bones, you got to pick?
I think that game to go to the World Cup would be pretty incredible, wouldn't it? That would be that would feed families and maybe start another famine like for a lifetime. Like that's
That'd be better than a lot of World Cup games.
Yeah, seriously. In one of their country, like that would be insane. I don't know. I'll take Scotland because no, I'll take Ireland because they're actually broken up into two Irelands, and so they actually have less potential for talent because they gave some to Northern Ireland. So I'll take Ireland.
Even though I think Scotland's much smaller than Ireland. I actually don't know that as a fact. I'm just sort of throwing shit out of my ass.
This show is about speculation. This
I
whole
know,
show is
we're all
about
speculating
speculation.
here.
We don't do facts here. We don't do facts. It's not fun.
No, we just do vibes and speculation. Mikey, Ireland or Scotland? Who you got?
Ireland for sure. I need. Once I've realized Troy Parrott was a player Spurs released, I need him to win the Golden Boot. I need him to score 2.5 goals a game for the remainder of his lifetime.
I was happy for him. It was cool to see.
Yeah, I'm sure you were pumped.
I was actually. I got Ireland. I'm repping Ireland right now. This is actually a really tough question if you were to ask me, because like my dad almost disowned me for when I studied abroad in Scotland. I never went to Ireland one time, even though you can basically swim there. He's never gotten over the fact that I never went to Ireland. He's a big Ireland guy, but I lived in Scotland, and the Scottish people were freaking amazing. I assume, in fact, there were a lot of Irish kids that went to school there. They were awesome. I loved Scottish and Irish people. They're very similar. They love to drink. You can't really understand them after they get drunk. They're a very fun-loving bunch.
Maybe I am Scottish.
See, yeah, that's where your last name comes from. Like you said, Mitch, Ireland or Scotland? Who are you eliminating?
Sticking with my McTominay era, I'm going to say Scotland here. I'm a personal fan of Alistair McAllister on social. He's the Scottish broadcaster who does voiceovers for like old goals, particularly Archie Gemmill. But any goal that he can get his hands on, he's just an absolute character. Met a couple times, and I'm a huge fan of his. And I think him at the World Cup would be absolute scenes. My answer is Scotland.
I'm sure he's going to be here. I think I either met him at TST.
Oh, yeah, you meet him at TST?
Yeah, we either met or just talked like online or something. But like, I saw he met some of the Scottish players after the game. That's cool. I'm happy for him.
By the way, speculation check. Republic of Ireland, population of approximately 5.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland, way
Scotland,
bigger.
5.5 million.
Damn it. Yeah,
so-
you're right. So Northern
Wrong
Ireland was the
again,
difference.
Sam.
Unlucky. Better luck next time.
Oh God. All right. I only have one more question here from the World Cup qualifying. Gattuso complaining. This is from Miranda. Gattuso complaining about the number of European nations that qualify for the World Cup versus the ratio of South America. What do they get? Like 6 or 7 of their 9. So is that pure butthurt, or does he actually have a point?
I think he has a point. If the percentage of South American nations that are able to qualify is 70%, and the percentage of European nations that can qualify is, I'm speculating here, but 40, if that,
way less.
Yeah, like I think he has a point. Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, a lot of those teams are like the Luxembourgs and the Liechtensteins and San Marino. Shout out San Marino. But like, whereas we're talking Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay,
Sure.
Argentina, Colombia,
in
Ecuador.
no way.
Kicked out of him by the United States of America's.
Yeah.
Or it's more countries were like the top. The new rankings just came out. Out of the top 50, top 30 teams, how many of them are in?
Now,
and the fact that someone, maybe it's Italy, but someone that's in the top 30, and if that's because Europe has less teams qualifying, then I think he's got a really big point for me.
It does sound weird coming on the heels of a really disappointing Italian stretch. I mean, they've won
Yeah.
6 of their last 7 games. They lost, that big one to Norway recently. But it does sound like an excuse on the heels of this qualification window for Italy. But I think in a vacuum, it's a perfectly valid.
Also,
Yeah,
you've got these groups where there's 4 teams and there's groups where there's 5 teams. Like the whole qualification system is just kind of out of whack a little bit. Like, they get put in a group with Norway, who has been incredibly hot. And so it's not like, oh, well, they got to the hex and like they missed the hex or whatever. Like, there's some wonky things going on in this qualification. Like, they're playing more games than everyone else, all this different stuff. I think he has a point.
All right, fair. Anthony, who does follow Italian football, as he's saying, Gattuso is making excuses for the failure of the Italian Football Federation to field a squad to at least make the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, they did run into a little bit of a buzzsaw with Norway, but look at the other teams in the group: Israel, Estonia, Moldova. They kind of got walkovers in those. Yeah, it's a weird situation. I do think that it's probably. I mean, FIFA keeps changing everything, so I'm sure UEFA is just trying to keep up with that, and I'm sure the next phase of qualification will be completely different.
Who'd they lose to in that group other than Norway? They lose to Norway twice?
I think they lost to Norway twice. They
Yeah.
definitely got spanked recently because that highlight of what's his name, Mancini, booping Erling Haaland's hair was actually pretty funny. But yeah, you don't want to boop that guy's hair. All right, I think we're about done here. Quickly, I got to give best bet, so we'll do Ivan Toney's best bet. You guys can throw one out if you want. But here it is, Ivan Toney's best bet. We have had a couple people suggesting that we need to change it to turkeys, somehow get Turkey involved with the best bet here, because they have taken over the naughtiness on the gambling thing. But overtrain 5 aside. Now we're going to go Thursday through Monday because we're taping this on Wednesday night. Thursday, tough day. There's not a lot going on this Thursday, by the way, of the international break. America and Tigres and Liga MX Femenil over 2.5. Friday, we're going to the Eredivisie Den Bosch and Almere City over 2.5. Saturday, we're going to Swiss First Division, where Luzern is hosting Servette. Sunday, we're going to MLS. Cincinnati and Miami. That's going over 3.5. So we're getting plus money there. Monday, we're going to Denmark, where Randers is hosting There you go. Shout out to my guy, Eric, who's doing all the calculations and unfortunately burying me because I've been terrible lately. Now, anybody else want to throw a best bet out there?
I don't, but I have a Goa.
Yeah, let's do the Goas then. Favorite segment.
It's Nigerian head coach Eric Chalet. And after the game, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
After the game against the DR Congo, he explained that during penalties, he was actively doing voodoo. And that's why his team came out on top. I don't know what the ruling is on that and if that will be allowed on the World Cup stage. But if it is, then I think everybody should be actively employing like a voodoo master or somebody familiar with the dark arts who can be on the sideline as an assistant coach or something, casting spells maybe. I really think it's like an undiscovered area of tactics is the paranormal. And if he has this figured out and he's, qualifying his nation for the World Cup, I think people should consider it.
That's a great shout. I had him written down as one of my goals. Yeah,
pro
it was actually
voodoo podcast for sure.
Yeah.
We are pro voodoo. It was actually funny because he was already livid at the Congo's sidelines before the penalty shootout was even done, and as soon as they lost, he immediately went over and tried to get at somebody. That was crazy.
That's awesome.
That was insane. Now, any Goas, Mikey?
I got a bet. So this guy's been tracking our fucking bets in the Discord, and I'm like,
shout out Eric.
I'm getting smoked. So I'm gonna do what any good, responsible gambler would do, and it's make a parlay to make it all back at once.
Yep.
That's
for sure.
That's how you bet responsibly. Yep. 3 guys to score this weekend. You're gonna get Mateta at plus 120 against Wolves is hilarious. I don't know if anybody watched that Wolves Chelsea game. It's gonna look a lot like that. He's going to score. I might put my whole life on that. That's a lock. Holland at Newcastle minus 120. Being an Arsenal fan, you know what's going to happen. Holland scoring in that game. And then you take those two and you wait for the one hit on Sunday, and you wake up and it's a penalty in the 3rd minute, and Bukayo Saka's stepping up to take it, and he buries it in the bottom right corner, and you cash 10-1. All three of those guys have scored this weekend.
Mikey's back. He's back in the black.
And I have a Goa for you too, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you want me to just do it like in this order.
Yeah.
So it's Thomas Tuchel. His quote when asked about the Jed Spence thing, when Jed Spence walked by Thomas Frank, and then there was all this PR about how he apologized and he didn't mean it. And everybody that's ever played a sport knows exactly what he did. Total douche move. He made him look like an asshole, his own manager. And Tuchel goes, his quote is, "I didn't like it because the players know they are not only national team players when they are 10 days at camp, they are always national players, and the standard is important." I fuck with that. I do. If you're going to create a culture and you're going to create something that's worth putting on and fighting for, especially if you're England, who hasn't won shit, you can't have guys feeling like that and showing up their managers on the side. I love it. I genuinely, all seriousness, thought that was class from Tuchel. So, hell yeah.
All right. That's fair. And it was shitty. Not just him, but Van de Ven. And so, yeah, that was
it was a dickhead move.
It was. It absolutely was. So, yeah, that's a good shout. Bones, you want to give any shouts, good or bad?
No, I was scrolling down my thought mob to try and find a feminine or a Frauen division matchup to bet on. I couldn't scroll down far enough, so I'm going to let it go. I'll let you have all those for this week.
It's good.
Just leave it at that.
That's good.
Next time.
Can we get an over-under on Sam's actual height? I'll bet on that.
Oh
my God.
That line is going to be, you know when they're doing a
combo,
line.
You know when they're doing like what's the thing where you duck underneath it?
Oh yeah.
Limbo?
Yeah,
Limbo.
That's right. It would be like near the end of a limbo round is where you put the like if you're trying to picture in your head like the lowest somebody can get, that's where you're starting.
You must be pretty good at that game, Sam.
He just
Limbo,
walks
you
under
never
it.
lose.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
really good. Tyler's wedding in Toronto, it was like an absolute ruckus watching him do limbo.
I had to put him on my shoulders during the ceremony.
In Toronto. Yeah, that was. Did they even allow that?
Toronto.
Is that legal?
It was right down the street from me, and I still didn't get invited. So
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, listen, I had two Goas, and we've already talked about both of them. I had the Nigerian coach, which Mitch brought up, and then Troy Parrott was going to be my actual Goa. So I'm going to give him a shout out. 5 goals. Maybe we'll bring him back. Spurs could use a striker these days. So come on back, big boy. Bones, you're the man. Thank you. Shout out everybody in the Discord. Anthony, over under 1.5 goals. If I have to guess Sam's height, 5'6". Anthony, god damn it.
Yeah, this is working. This is working.
It is working. It is working.
Under on that's like minus 350. There's no value there.
This is insane. It's all right. Listen, I like being underestimated. I like this.
He likes being under 5'6".
Short man syndrome is strong with this guy. All right, Mikey, Mitch, you guys are beautiful, even though you're constantly lying. Bones, as I said, you're the man. Come back again soon, and we will leave it there. We'll be back bigger, better, maybe faster, stronger next week. Definitely taller.